Earlier this week, I dropped a video that was making connections to Snowflake. And I wanted, as a follow-up, to kind of expand on that and make an API call and pipe that into Snowflake using Designer Cloud. And that's what we've done here tonight. We find out some really exciting things about the way Alteryx Designer Cloud interacts with the results of these APIs, and actually find our first like question marks about like design of certain tools in Alteryx Designer Cloud. So come take this journey with me. Thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up. Enjoy. Oh yeah, intro. My name's Trayson Marks. This is Sky Punch, a series where we attack problems in the cloud. So the other night, I built this pipeline, this workflow to demonstrate an API call writing into Snowflake. So essentially building that data pipeline through Designer Cloud, and I scheduled it. So we're going to look at that schedule, and we're going to look at the results here first, showing that like, hey, this worked, this is cool, and then hopefully that gets you more excited about everything else you're going to see. So this is the second time I recorded this video because I could not figure out where schedules were. They're not actually in this Designer Cloud area. You have to go back to Analytics Cloud. You have to click schedules up at the top. This is separate. To note, this is separate from plans. This is just a schedule. So I click on here. There's my schedule. It's been running for 3 days now. And it has been running correctly as far as I could see. Status is good over here. But when I look into my Snowflake instance, I can see that it's run 1, 2, 3 times since then, which if I did it on the, this makes sense. Oh, interesting that it ran. Oh, time must be off. So 17th was the day I recorded this. So 17th it ran, then it's the 18th, 19th. I got to figure out how timing works in this machine. But anyway, the idea is that this ran perfectly. Everything ran the way I would expect it to. So I hope this gets you excited. Building a pipeline with an API and talking about a bunch of other really cool things that we discovered in Designer Cloud. Enjoy. All right. So last night I did some Snowflake work, which I don't know if I've released that video yet, but it's cool. In an hour, we connected to Snowflake. I launched a Snowflake instance, connected to Snowflake, pulled data out of Snowflake, did a bunch of work, pushed it back to Snowflake. So it was within an hour, but probably 35 minutes of it was just trying to connect. So really, it was a fast process. So if we know how to connect, we understand that part. Through launching it, you can be done. You can have a thing in 30 minutes, which is pretty cool. But one of the comments, when I was just kind of talking through it in my head, was like, okay, we're making data pipelines here. But that data pipeline was out of Snowflake back into Snowflake. So what I want to try to do is an API. Now, instead of spending 30 minutes on a video trying to connect, I already connected to an API, so we're going to walk through that a little bit, and then what my understanding of a lot of this stuff is, and then we're going to go, we're going to build it out in Alteryx. So let's take a look here. All right. I created a connection. There's just like a standard REST API connection. So boom. I set it up here. Let's talk about some things here. Gave it a connection name, which you'll see back here. It's Gold Price API. Description, base URI. A lot of this stuff is in documentation. Let me show you the documentation for this so you kind of understand what I'm looking at here. Quick start guide. This is our base. Our URL. These are for the specific requests. XML price. This is the one. JSON pricing request. So it says that this is the URL, but I just added this part into my connection because that's the base. I didn't do any connection string options. I'll actually pop it open here in a second. No auth type. The one thing I did want to talk about today. Oh yeah, and then URL. So this one actually has like all the authentication in the URL. So all that goes in here. One thing I did want to talk about is this table name. I couldn't figure out what this was initially. But this is, you have to create like a temp table to put the data. Essentially, I think that's what that is. So this is something you create as you type this out. It's not anything that you should know ahead of time necessarily, that I understand. I'll get back to that. But what's cool is they also have a lot of custom filters. So if you need any headers, you can do that in here. They do have pagination options, which is really cool. So like if you have something that limits to, let's say, I think an example I had was once upon a time, I worked with ServiceNow, and I think they had like a 20 record return limit or something like that, or 100 record, 200 record, I can't remember, but 20 sounds familiar for some reason. There was a 20 record return limit, and what would happen is we would send the call, and then it would send back the 20 records, and then in the header return, it had like a next call URL. So we would just send that back through, which in Alteryx, we had to like parse that out of the header. Alteryx Designer Desktop. We had to parse out the header, and then we had to make a batch macro to process that. Or an iterative macro to process that. Anyway, but it looks like that's all kind of accounted for here, so that's cool. I don't have an example for that tonight, but there's pagination built into this. I think it's all we're going to need for this right now. And then I'm not quite sure what the multiple endpoints are, but this is, you have your endpoint 1, 2, 3. So I don't know if this is like if there's a handshake, then it does the first one, then it returns something back, then gives this one. I don't know what that means yet. So, but one day we will. So let me just show you what mine looks like. Edit connection. Yeah, so there's that base URI. Here's the request with my key in it, and then there's another header, or not a header, another parameter that it needs, which is this one. So for me, it was just this GSJ. I had tried originally doing this XML part, and I was like, I don't know what's going on, because it wasn't working. But this is what I needed. To note, what that meant was like I couldn't figure out how to return change the return type that this expects. Like, so this expects, it seems like this expects JSON. On the XML return, I couldn't get it to pull back correctly. I was getting an error saying XML, but we're expecting JSON. I even tried to change the headers. I did record that part, so I've got that, and maybe I'll throw it at the end of this video, but I couldn't figure out why that wasn't working. So I've got questions there. So that's my connection. Okay. Let's go here. Let's browse data. So the rest, okay. Name test. Let's get us see what this looks like. Okay, interesting. This is what it looks like. Oh. All right, more of this like pre-filled out stuff is kind of cool. So this is the return XML. This is the return JSON return. It parsed this out for me. It seems. Dang, I was hoping to have to build some parsing because I'm curious. But if it's just gonna give it to me, what do I do? What do I do? Date. And this is the call date. This would be the. I don't know what this date is, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Well, dang. Thanks for parsing that for me. I wonder if that's why I was having a hard time with the XML, because it was expecting JSON. I wonder how this works in more complex JSON. Like, now I need to go find a more complex API return. Yeah, I'm going to need to look into that, but that's cool that it does that for me. So let's just create a data set here. This is going to be gold API test. Yeah, why not? Cool. Add description, parsed return from for gold, silver, spot. Okay, we'll say this. That looks good. I say continue. All right. Well, let's let's go to Designer. Make a copy. Let's see. Is there a way to just launch Designer from here? Nope. Nope. Oh, is there? There might be. I can't find it. I wonder what share means. Oh, that gives it to a different user. Okay. That I should have known that. All right. Make it. Nope. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to Designer Cloud. Designer Cloud. Launch. We're gonna launch this guy. All right, Snowflake examples. That was last night. We're going to do a new workflow. Input data. Dang, that's cool. Okay, so, well, I was expecting you to have to do some JSON parsing. So let's see if, so JSON parsing, that's in, sorry, we're going to open up some Designer desktop here. JSON parsing is not, this is XML parsing here, right? JSON parsing is in the developer tools. So, and I don't think there's a developer toolkit yet, except for dynamic rename. So I'm curious how, I might have to just go find some text input. All right, we're gonna just JSON example. So let's boom. Okay, so this is perfect. Yeah, let's just grab that. Okay, so if I have this, we're just gonna, if I drop this JSON, oops, JSON, not just regular sun. So let's see if I paste all that in a single cell. How would I parse this? Now let's see how the search function is on here. Let's find tool. Let's see what this does. I want to do JSON. Nope, there's no JSON parsing here. Chat with help desk. Oh, we'll be back online. Okay, so that's that. All right. Feedback. So it doesn't look like there's the same search function that you get out of Alteryx. So, or Alteryx Designer Desktop. So here, if I want to do JSON, there's a million things. Parsing JSON in the community. It's all there, but we don't seem to have any JSON parsing functionality in Designer. Again, something on the input already did that for us, and so, man, this is just I don't know if I'm ever gonna need it. Why would I pick up JSON otherwise? API return if it automatically parses. Again, I'm curious for like multi-level JSON. So like this one, for example, you've got like 5 levels, 5 or 6 levels. Like how does this part tabularly when this isn't a tabular data set? So that's going to be my question here. Actually, let's look at this. Okay. You know what? Hold on. What we're going to need to do is put these side by side. JSON example. Okay. Gold USD ask. Boom. Gold USD bid. Boom. Oh, okay. So it actually. Whoa. I like this. I'm curious how like smart this is going to get, because there's the date in the unit. And see how it breaks. Okay, I like this. Again, I'm really curious on how smart it is. Like it works here because this is pretty simple. But how, again, more complex JSON returns. Okay, we're going to have to look at this in the future too. How on more complex JSON returns, how does this parse? And this, again, this works here. But like, what if, let's look at this other example here. What if there's a second ID here or a second title here? How would it know that this title was associated with this stuff? Is that in the header too? Do I have to parse it out of the header? Curious. Or does this because of its hierarchy become like a title field, and then it would attach all of these to the title, and then just like some expanding, like ever expanding, like some ever expanding table where it ends up looking like this. Here, I'm just going to draw how I think this is going to look. Having, again, no idea how I think it might. Well, I don't want to get in trouble by saying the wrong thing, but I think I'm curious on more complex parses. How's this going to look? Again, this is fine. This is cool. I like how this is parsed, and it gives me my headers. We're going to have to dive into this a little bit more. All right. That's my data set. We're going to get rid of that. I don't need it. Let's see here. This is a date time, so that's fine. This looks like it's the 16th, so this is like a day. Okay, I think just this data set's like a day behind, which is fine because it's free. So, all right, cool. So I'm pulling the data, and I don't even have any prep stuff that I want to do. These are per ounce prices. Ounce. We could do something that'd be like, I could do a pound where I could just multiply that times 16. Man, we're not going to. No, okay, I don't care. I just care about my pipeline. Okay, so now we're just going to output data. And so, actually, this is going to answer a question from yesterday. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to do like a, how do I want to, should I create the structure of the table? Yeah, probably in a better use case, I'd create a table. Not in a better use case. If I cared, if I was an owner of this, what I would do is I'd just create a table that automatically had like a timestamp. You know what? I'm going to do this real quick. Let's see. All right. I'm not going to do this tonight. We're just going to let Alteryx create it. This is an example of where, why I would use this, have this create something new, because I don't care right now. I'm just trying to get this up, and I would say, yep, I'm good with this, What I was going to do is create a timestamp, but I'm hoping this works. Actually, you know what? I am going to create a timestamp. I'll create it here. Again, normally, if we were doing best practices, we would set up a timestamp and an ID in the Snowflake, but we're trying to be quick, so let's just call this timestamp. Nope. Just say GS_timestamp. Let's do that. This is a little frustrating. Let's see. Okay. Date time now. That's fine for now. Again, and this is date time now. Boom. Okay. Tool's not configured. All right. Create new table. We'll call it GS pipeline test. Okay. Yep, that's fine. We say okay, continue. All right, we're gonna. Let's see. Let me just base. If I say append, okay, save. It's following column errors. Oh, it doesn't like the names of these. All right, here's what we're gonna do: dynamic rename, which I did see was in there, and we're going to just say, hey, nope. Let's say use column names. That doesn't do what I want it to. Delete and connect around. Oh, cool. That does. Delete and connect around is here. All right. I'm just going to do a select tool real quick. And we're just going to rename some of these for the purposes of. All right. gold USD ask underscore USD underscore ask gold bid silver underscore USD underscore ask. This will become silver underscore USD underscore bid. I'll just call it price date. I don't know if that's true, but price unit. Yep, timestamp. And we'll undo this because I'm trying to think. Is that the best way to rename these? Yeah, it looks like it probably. Also, I wanted to transpose it and then re-cross tab. I'll just, you know what? Let's take a quick look and see what that's going to look like. So if I take this here, yep. No, I don't want to key on anything. There's no key because it's one field. And then we're going to select all here. Nope, I'm sorry. That is. Is that backwards from designer? Yeah, that's backwards from designer. All right, interesting. Those are columns transpose. We're going to ignore. So that gives me that. And then if I cross tabbed it back, would that is it new column names? Interesting that it's name. Create new column from. Oh, okay, this is different. Create a new column from the new column names. From value, output method, concatenate values. Create new column. New column names. Hold on a second. I don't know if I like that. I don't think I like that at all. Am I doing this wrong? Please, someone tell me I'm doing this wrong. Well, what has happened here? Interesting. Well, that is not what I would have expected it at all. I don't know if I like this. Is there a way to add all? For science, we're going to do this. Is there an undo? Okay. Can I undo one more? Okay. It did not seem to be like an add all. I don't like that. I want somebody to tell me why they think this is better. What am I not thinking of here? Like, I guess I could see where it'd be like, oh, I actually only need 2 of them, sure. But I think it'd be easier to just do a select tool and then remove them. So I actually did get the opportunity to chase down the answer to this. I was talking to someone on the Alteryx community about it, because actually the quest number 2, which were launched today at the time of my recording, so Wednesday the 21st, I chased that down. I had the same problem in quest number 2. And so I said, why does it do this? And the community, the power of the community, right? Someone came out and like, this is why we had done this. Essentially, if you have a field like an ID and that's what is selected as the headers, because of the way that Designer Cloud automatically like populates things on the bottom, if you clicked one of those headers, it would just like if it defaulted to a select all, it would just create a column for every single one of those headers. And like if you have 32,000 records, it's just going to blow things up. So you don't want to do that. Currently in Designer Desktop, if you do that, you still have to wait for the workflow to run. So that's why it's fine that like that's the default setting that selects everything. So the one thing I try to plead our case on is the select all option. I mentioned it in that recording, because if once you actually get to the right thing, so like in this example, there's 8 or 9 things that I had to add. It'd be much easier just to be like, yeah, I know this is the correct field. Just go ahead and select all, and we're good to go. So we will see if things change. But again, power of the community, and yeah, pretty cool. Interesting too that so it does give the value here, but it does rename them to underscores, which is what I wanted. I wanted this to happen, but I'm also, again, my data is not in here, so unsure of why that is. But I wonder if it has to do with the difference between the name here and the underscore here. That's a question. That's a question for a different day. Okay, do we have containers? We don't have containers yet. Okay, which is, do we have containers yet? I don't want to say that incorrectly. In and out, preparation, join, parse, transform. There's no documentation tools. All right. Oh wait, hold on. Oh. Okay, hold on. I said that incorrectly. Container 9. Boom. These guys go in here. What's happening? We're gonna do that. That's actually convenient. All right, we're gonna leave that like that. But that's why this. So this, what's the error? Output tool, append. Usually it will be description, add description. I'm fine. Not. Okay, so it looks like that's gonna work. Again, the append. Oh, let's go over Snowflake and see if that created the table. That's gonna be a good question. So let's go to history. Query history. Did anything happen in the last second? Yeah. Okay. All right. So, so that created the table. Okay. So last night I had a question. I was like, okay, do I have to create it once and then run it once and then switch over to append? It doesn't look like it. Looks like it just created the temp, this temp stage. Oh, hold on. That did not do what I thought it did. This is creating the stage. Trifecta connection test. Temp stage. Okay. All right. Well, that's. Damn it. What kind of authority is based on my role? Interesting. So it did it create so it's created a temp stage. Okay. Got it. But it didn't create a temp table, or didn't create a table. Okay, so now I'm going to answer that. We're going to answer this question. So my question was, it says I clicked append here. Is it going to create a table? What's it going to do on the first run? So let's run it. And while it's running, we can rename this to gold, silver, API pipeline demo. We'll just call it that. Right, and remember last night it took like 14 seconds to do. I imagine this takes a little bit longer to refresh. So, and I don't imagine there's a ton of other users on right now at 11:18 p.m. on a Saturday. Probably a lot of people out there have more friends than I do. That's what I like to think anyway. All right, while that's running, of course, I'm going to do this and that's going to finish. While that's running, let's talk about the useful things here. The parsing, okay, yeah, see, immediately as I started talking, it finished. We'll look at that in a second. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna. So it looks like. Let's see. We're gonna view the results here. Actually, I'm going back to Snowflake. All right, hold on. We're gonna talk about the exciting things later. Going back to Snowflake. Where are we at? All right. Let's refresh this. 11:19. So let's see. 11:19. All right. Create table. So it creates the table. This is a much smaller table, way smaller because I didn't have all that stuff happening in my workflow. I wonder if the create table stuff is just going to expand. Again, it's just going to expand. Anyway, those are other questions. Let's see. Copy into. So this puts it into temp paste and it copies into it. Got it. Okay. I'm fine with this. I'm fine with all this. This Snowflake part happened really quickly. Use $2, my free $400. All right. Cool. So that's what that looks like. Price. Yeah. Okay. So that's the date. Okay. That makes sense of that. That's just going to run. Okay. Here's the real thing. Schedules. Let's see if I can schedule this guy. All right. We're going to create a new schedule. We're going to call it GS spot test asset type. Let's see. It is a workflow. Ooh, desktop. Ooh, plan. Oh, okay, these are other things I gotta look at. Is a plan where I can take two workflows and then say run this one, then run this one. I hope that's what that is. I don't know what this reporting project is. This is probably desktop on the cloud or desktop. There's a desktop deployment tool from, you can essentially publish here from the desktop, and we'll talk in a future date how that I think that works. But I think today just workflow. All right, asset API pipeline demo. Yeah, we're gonna do that one. Occurrence, reoccurring ones, custom. Let's say daily. Let's say at what time is it right now? 11:21 p.m. Let's see here. Oh, 11:20 p.m. Yep, that's fine. And let's start this tomorrow. And let's end this in a week. And let's see what happens. All right, let's schedule this. All right, we're going to come back at a later date. That's super easy to do as long as everything runs correctly. How do we manage these schedules? Lots of questions from like a management perspective. All right, let's recap here. Let's talk about what we did. Let's talk about what was awesome. Let's talk about questions we have. Connected to an API. That took a little longer for me because I didn't understand some of the things that this was asking, but I'm okay with that. Again, we're gonna have to learn, so that's fine. It parsed my JSON for me, which makes me ask questions about in more complex JSON how that's gonna work. So we're gonna need to test that. But it's really cool. Functionally, it's really cool as long as it works. Again, with like group, like if there are multiple documents inside of a document, and if there's multiple things inside of a document, does it create an ID field for the document so that we can tie multiple records to it? I'm curious how all that's going to work. But again, for this, great, awesome, love it. So that's number one, JSON parsing. I ran through the workflow pretty simply. We did have some questions on the transpose tools. I'm sorry, I did transpose, and then I had some questions / concerns on the crosstab tool. But that doesn't have anything to do with this workflow, but that's just something we noticed. Yeah. Okay. So plans are down here. Sorry. My focus has changed. Okay. So we did that. Then we ran it. We know that the question yesterday was, if I drop a data set into Snowflake, do I create it the first time and then I have to go back and change it from create to append or something like that, or update or drop and reload? It looks like I can just tell it what I want it to do all times, and it does the create on the first one. I didn't look through the Snowflake, but I assume it's going to have to do some like check and see if it exists first. I'd hope that's how that works. But anyway, so there's that. And then so we ran it once. It was in there fine. And then we scheduled it. So we'll do a follow-up in a few days to see how those schedules run. We have essentially built a data pipeline if it runs correctly. Now, again, this is based on schedule. There's no like, from what I haven't seen yet. Hold on. We're going to go back into schedules here. I just want to see. Event trigger. Ooh. Oh, so this is just based on a file or path. Which that would be great. Again, if we're dropping things like in an S3 bucket, that's super cool. But I don't even think for this thing I would need an event trigger, because for my example, it's just like I need to know spot price once a day. So scheduling is fine. We'll have to look at this later. Custom, a cron expression. So that's not what we're doing here. But anyway, event trigger. This is going to be cool. All right, so that's good to know. We're going to test that eventually. All right. So you can do event triggering on your schedules. So that's cool. Yeah, otherwise pretty excited about all of this. More exciting things. This one actually probably brought more questions to light on other things than I would have liked it to. My first probably like question mark, why did we do this in Designer Cloud? But yeah, I'm sure we're going to have some of those. There's been a lot of really great things on Designer Cloud and a lot of great things that I love today. So, yeah, we're going to follow up on that. Everyone have a great night.